Well, we're taking our friends to the airport and we're at the last elephant bar on Earth. Seriously, this place is going extinct like real elephants. Only it's not that sad. So save the real elephants and get rid of this one. I'm with that. Yeah, so we're here at Elephant Bar with Luke and Gia. L-U-C, not L-U-C-K like me. L-U-K-E. I spelt it luck too. Man, people are always doing that to me and I hate it. So we were going to talk about the boat and what's happening. Yeah, and it turns out that the one place that we had set up to sandblast said no, they're not going to rent to us now.
Why?
So the guy was nervous about doing the sandblasting there because, you know, boats use heavy metal, like a really high copper and zinc on their bottom paint, and so that's toxic kind of to the environment. Yeah, so he was kind of nervous about that. I told him that we would contain all of it and it wouldn't be that big of a deal, and he agreed, but the whole time I could tell he just didn't want to.
Yeah.
And so finally he contacted me last night and said, we found someone that's going to rent the entire equipment yard and for a longer term lease than you wanted. So yeah, so he said no. So now we're looking at renting a spot at a regular boatyard.
Mexico.
No, the boat won't make it to Mexico. It won't float right now because it's got holes in it from rust. So yeah, so the boatyard will end up doing the sandblasting and probably some of the painting. I'm hoping not all of the painting, but yeah. So it's going to cost a lot more money, but that's kind of the only option we have right now. So yeah, and last night you were having a really hard time with this, weren't you?
Yeah.
I've been trying to stay positive about it, but like I'm gonna have to get with that. When you were so hard in it, it's your dream, and figure out.
Yeah, so that's been the problem, is finding a place to do this work, and yeah, and it was so unexpected too, because, you know, we thought we had a place all laid out and it just fell through, and I was kind of counting on that as part of the deal, you know, like it's going to be cost effective to have this boat because we have a free place to work on it. But
That's true.
yeah. So tell us about this trip you're going on.
We're going to Madrid.
Yeah.
France. Nice. It's pretty cool. It's been a while. It's been the first time you're going to Madrid.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It's pretty kind of warmish at this time of the year.
Oh, that's perfect.
Better than Europe. Let's say France is very cold.
Yeah. I'm surprised you've never been. You've been to Spain before,
I've
right?
been there,
Yeah.
I know already.
Okay.
Now.
Yeah.
I will show her.
Yeah. So Luke is actually from France. His family still lives there. So yeah. So this is a kind of half home trip and half vacation trip. Yeah. So yeah.
It'd be nice.
What do you plan to do there, like a museum?
Museum arts is pretty big there. So there is a nice museum you found you want to go to?
Yeah,
Which one?
the one I sent you.
The Prado Museum.
Prado, yay!
Oh, I've heard of that one. That's a big one.
It's a big one. I've been there. They have this huge painting that is called Guernica, which picture like wartime and so on.
Okay.
I've seen it in, let's say, a school book before. You think it was pretty small, but it's like huge, maybe, I don't know, 10 feet by 20 feet.
Nice.
A whole piece of painting.
Nice.
And when you see it in person, it's magnificent.
It's unreal. Yeah.
Listen, and you see, how long did the guy took to paint everything and so, because it's
Right.
massive, it's huge.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow. Yeah, that'd be impressive.
it's pretty cool.
Cool. Well, this is our view while we're eating. The airport is over that way, so you get to see the planes coming and going. And the city is up there, if I can get focused on it. There we go.
It's pretty nice.
So you can see the massive Salesforce Tower, and then the next tallest one just to the right is the Millennium Tower, which actually is sinking on one side because of bad engineering. Yeah. And there's a Bay Trail right next to us that these people are walking on that actually circles the entire San Francisco Bay. Yeah.
Sanctuary.
Sanctuary. It's a nice place. Alright, we're gonna eat our lunch and get these guys to the airport, so yeah, I hope you enjoy your trip.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Will do.
I will.
Okay.
I will.
Oh. What's going on with this hoodie here, Lee?
I don't know.
Woo! When is it out?
Shout out to Shireen for helping us make cards and
Yeah, thanks Shireen. That's an awesome shirt. So yeah, we're not gonna be selling these anytime soon, but
You never know.
you never know. We don't have enough viewers for that. So yeah, tell your friends, if you want a shirt, we need more viewers.
Likes and subscribe.
Like and subscribe.
family and friends. Watch your journey.
Yes. Yeah, that's what we care about.
Yeah.
Alright, so see ya.
See ya. Bye.
So I've been working on the list for our boat project. And this is kind of what I came up with. I had this at the start of the project as kind of a guide, and I guessed some of the expected times in here. This one at the top, I'm pretty sure I was thinking 4 days and not 4 hours. It took 35 hours about to do the demolition. That's including hauling away all of the junk to the dump and throwing it in the garbage and everything. So you can see anything over here on the right with an actual time are things that are finished. Yeah, so there's a few things in here that may or may not happen, like attempting to straighten the hull with the hammer. There's some waviness on the bottom, and since I have a steel hull, you know, I can just go inside and bang it out with a sledgehammer to try and straighten that a bit, instead of putting a bunch of fairing compound on the outside. But, you know, maybe it's in an area that's not easy to get to, or maybe I think it'll compromise the strength of the hull to do it, and then I won't obviously smash it with a hammer to do that. So, we'll see. Rebuilding the winches doesn't necessarily have to happen, but it's something that's less physically intensive, so if I have helpers around that are looking for things to do, but they can't really do the hard lifting, heavy stuff, then yeah, you know, I've got projects like that I could have them help me out with. The Aries wind vane, I tried to get off at the same time I lowered down the rudder in one of the last videos, and it should have been easy. There were just 2 bolts through pipes at the back of the boat that were holding it on, but it's actually seized to the pipes back there. So I got the bolts out, but the Aries pipes slip over top of the pipes on the boat, and those pipes are seized. So I'm going to have to get some heat from a torch and heat it up and see if I can crack that loose. That's got to come off of there. I'm not sure if I'm going to put that back on or not. It hangs off the boat so far, and it kind of looks big and clunky back there. So, yeah, I'm considering what to do about that. I think it's probably going to go, though. So, we've got removed the hull fittings. Those are the through hulls that are in there. I'm not going to use any of the same through hulls. They're all clogged up and rusted, and I'm just going to cut the hull out around them rather than trying to remove them, and then I'll weld in a new plate after I get the hull sandblasted. And that new plate, if I use the same location for the through hull, I'll just drill a hole in that place. So what else we got here? Lots of rusty areas on the deck that I might have to cut out. Then I have to weld new patches in there. The stern deck top hatch openings. So if you're sitting right by the companionway in the cockpit, as far forward as you can go on those bench seats, right on the cabin top above that, there are 2 hatch openings. And those openings are kind of in the way if we want to make a Dodger or a Bimini that's not 10 miles out into the cabin top. So I could leave them and just enclose them inside a Dodger or a Bimini, but I don't like that idea. I think it's weird to have windows inside of your Dodger. So I'm thinking about where to move those, or maybe they'll just get removed completely and filled in with a steel plate. Yeah, so that's something that will probably get done. I better do it now rather than having to sand down a huge part of the cabin top and then cut it and then and of course there's painting and sandblasting and more painting and more sandblasting and fairing the hull, masking off the new name. So if you haven't guessed it already, we're going to call this boat Clever Octopus. And key, when I say key octopus and name for paint, that means sand down the last layer of paint to make a rough surface. So if you don't sand down the paint, then the new paint won't stick to it because the existing dried paint is too smooth. So octopus, there's going to be an octopus that has tentacles stretching the length of the hull. That will be the waterline of the boat rather than having just a regular straight waterline. So that's going to be hand drawn on there by me, so hopefully it looks nice. We'll see. The sketch that I did is pretty decent, so I think the real thing will turn out alright. Anti-skid for on top of the deck, and then you have to paint one last coat over top of that. And then of course the rudder and the keel, if there's any rust on those, they need to be done, and then put all the deck hardware and hatches and things back on. And of course the engine, while I have it out of the boat, hopefully I get it out of the boat and can look it over really nicely and do a nice service on it, replace any leaking seals, and test fire it while it's outside the boat and easy to work on, and then put it back in. And the running rigging, you already saw me put the new fish lines through the mast, so that's what the running rigging is. So you can see I've done half of that already. Yeah, so these time to complete things are kind of estimates, and the really big unknown right now is getting the keel out of the boat. And so calling this keel may not be accurate because I don't think it's weighted at all. So the correct term for it, if it's not weighted, is centerboard. So remove the centerboard. It's stuck in there. The little pads that hold it from wobbling side to side in its little pocket inside the boat are stuck, like big time. They have kind of this weird bolt system to undo them, to loosen them up, and a really big wrench to work with. And I actually broke 3 of those bolts, and they're like 1.5-inch bolt heads. So they're huge, and I snapped them off trying to get this undone. So this is going to be another heat it up with a torch and, apply some aggressive force to get it undone. And if that doesn't work, then I've got to cut it off, and yeah, who knows where that goes. So hopefully that question mark turns into a very easy project, and I can get the keel out, the center board out of there. So yeah, we'll see where this goes. Stay tuned. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video, and here's a nice view of Crystal Lake to end with. So if you enjoy what we're doing here, make sure you subscribe and like. It's an easy way to help us share our work with other viewers trying to find us. And if you don't like and subscribe, then nothing. I'm not going to do anything. It doesn't matter. So, yeah, keep watching if you like it. And if you don't, go watch something else. That's how life works. See ya.